Hi, my name is Bradley Kaplan. I go to the University of Illinois. I'm here in Rome studying at the Gustolab. And today we're going to talk to you guys about sustainable topics, including food waste and health and wellness. We live in the Trastevere area. It's a great little neighborhood, and let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Charlie Kogan. I'm from Deerfield, Illinois, actually right next to where Bradley lives. I'm studying political science at the University of Illinois. Also studying at the Gustolab Institute here in Rome. Living in the Trastevere area. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Hi, I'm Megan, and I'm from Buffalo Grove, Illinois, and I'm studying advertising at the University of Illinois, and I'm also studying at the Gustolab and living here in Rome.
So last week we were lucky enough to go to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, and we got to thinking about ways that we become more sustainable for our environment and help reduce waste.
And although Rome is one of the most beautiful places on earth, as we all know, there are several ways that we can fix it to make it more sustainable, particularly in the areas of food waste and health and wellness, which is what we're going to be talking about throughout this webinar.
So if you don't know what food waste or food loss is food that is discarded, lost, or uneaten. So there are a lot of causes of food waste, and it can occur at any stages of production, processing, retailing, and consumption. Loss and wastage occur at all stages of food supply chain, including right in our very homes.
So before we talk more about food waste and things we can do, we thought we'd give some facts about food waste in Europe and Italy. So according to the European Commission, nearly 1/3 of all food in the world is lost or wasted. So that's obviously a huge portion of the food that's not being eaten.
And according to the Food and Agricultural Organization, which is a project run by the United Nations, is actually where we just were a few days ago. The food waste in Europe can feed about 200 million people. Now, to put that number in perspective, that's nearly 2/3 of the American population. So that's a lot of people that our wasted food could be feeding instead of just going in the trash.
And according to the European Commission, 88 million tons of food are wasted annually within the European Union, costing the EU nearly 143 billion euros.
And then according to BBC, Italy alone itself wastes about 5 million tons of food every year. And then moreover, experts would believe that the food waste costs Italy's business and households an estimated 12 billion euros per year, which is nearly 1% of their entire GDP.
That's a lot of money. Now that we have discussed some facts about food waste, we can think about some ways that we can manage food waste to help make the earth more sustainable. So we all know that we're all college students and we're all on a budget, we're all cooking meals, and with cooking meals comes inevitable food waste. So make sure to portion out your meals correctly and waste the least food possible.
So in Italy, people value freshness a lot. So instead of buying 15 pieces of chicken at the grocery store, like maybe you would do at home, just buy 1 or 2 on the same day, and that you'll be cooking them to ensure that you eat everything that you buy.
Yeah, so for example, last week, me and Charlie lived together. In our apartment, we made ourselves a large meal for all 5 of us, and we only used materials and food that we cooked and we bought that day at the local market. And we honestly managed to waste very little of it, which was great. And this is something that in the US we rarely do even think about. I mean, there's many places like big places like Sam's Club and Costco's where you can buy in bulk, but that's not a thing that very much happens here.
Italy is also pretty intense about separating their trash, which is something that we as Americans may not be used to. So make sure to use your organic waste bin when you're throwing out your leftovers so that they can be composted rather than just throwing them in the trash. I know that for our apartment, there are very specific days where we could throw certain types of trash out. And again, this is something that we're not particularly used to, but it's something that we need to become accustomed to in order to improve our sustainability.
So another way to help manage food waste is to order lightly when you're at a restaurant. We know that with all this amazing food, it can be hard to order small portions or even less items. But Italy doesn't have takeaway boxes like they do in America, so therefore whatever you don't eat automatically goes in the trash rather than your fridge for later consumption.
Yeah, like she said, this is something that we as Americans are not very used to, as that we know we can go out for a meal at home and we rarely think about needing to order just the right amount for us to eat because we can always take it home and put it in our fridge and save for later. But here we have to think differently about our food and how we order when we go out so we can help reduce the waste of our food.
And lastly, make it a real point to eat all of your food and try not to waste it. One thing that we've started to do to help with this is make a clean plate club. I know it sounds like a bit of a joke, but it's actually something we've started to take pretty seriously, and it's pretty fun, and the winner gets dessert, so that's always good.
So now that we've learned a little bit about food and waste and how to solve the problem, we can turn our attention to the next portion of this video, which is health and wellness.
So to start off talking about health and wellness, we just wanted to give some facts that were Italians versus American healthiness. As Americans, a lot of the world views us as overweight, lazy people who sit around and eat food all day. And technically, they're not necessarily wrong. According to the Huffington Post, the adult obesity prevalence in the United States is roughly 36%. Italy, on the other hand, has an adult obesity prevalence that is just over 10%. Now, just for those listening, we're just wondering, what do you guys think contributes to the disparity of these countries?
Well, while you guys are wondering, we'll give you some answers. One thing that we all notice and see a lot, because I'm sure the rest of the people studying with us in Rome do, is the amount that Italians walk. People are always out on the street at all hours of the day, either walking their dogs or simply taking a nice stroll with their friends down the street. They're always moving, so that definitely contributes to why they're so healthy.
So this is something as Americans we're not accustomed to. We drive or take Ubers nearly everywhere. At home, a 25 or 30-minute walk seems like really far, or needing a ride for it. Here in Italy, that's seen as a perfect walking distance.
Yeah, there's often times where we walk 30 to 45 minutes just to get to class every day. So it's a lot different than home, where if we saw that, we would try to drive or get any sort of ride we can. And that is something that we've noticed here. And one thing that we've been using to track our movement is the health app that comes on all iPhones. So since we got to Rome, the app has told us that we are averaging walking around 8.5 miles per day. While we looked last semester in Champaign, we were only averaging around 2 to 3 miles a day. This is a huge difference and can be considered a very large contributor to the reason why Italians are much healthier than Americans, is they're more out and about and walking. Taking 10,000 steps is equivalent to 30 minutes of high-intensity workout. So walking is a very good way to get exercise. And 8.5 miles is around 20,000 steps per day.
So next time you're thinking of taking a cab or bus in Italy, just walk. It's much healthier. It'll help you lose weight, and plus you'll fit in with the Italians.
So just because we're walking so much doesn't necessarily mean that we don't need any extra activities. We need to supplement this with both eating healthy and regular exercise to make sure we're as healthy as we can be.
Yeah, so one thing that we've noticed as abroad students is how little effort we put into actually working out. Again, we think that walking means a lot, but when we're in class a lot all day and then we get out with not much time, we don't really have time to work out. But within the Trastevere area alone, there are around 10 to 15 different types of gyms. You can lift, run, swim, and play a variety of different sports, so there's not many reasons to not be able to be fit and work out.
Yeah, so next time you're looking for a workout, grab a group of buddies and head on over to the nearest basketball courts to get a good cardio workout and have some fun.
Yeah. So moreover, we need to eat healthy. Now in Italy, this isn't too hard. Even though many of our meals we eat consist of pasta and pizza, there also are a ton of veggies and proteins available on every menu. It's not super hard to find. You just have to look past the pasta and pizza. We know that this is a lot harder said than done, but it will help contribute to our health and wellness while we're abroad.
And this can also be a part of making your food at home, is sometimes preparing your food in your own kitchen as opposed to going out can be prepared in a healthier way. So to conclude, we've touched on the topics of food waste and how to help reduce food waste. We can buy groceries the same day that we eat them, which is something that happens very much in this culture, and we can throw out our food correctly. We also can order the correct amount of food we go out and not over-order, which would create more food waste.
We also discussed health and wellness abroad. While walking does definitely keep us in shape, we need to continue to eat healthy and work out in the many gyms that Rome and the Trastevere area have to offer.
We hope you learned something about sustainability and take these lessons home with you to help save the earth and the people living in it.
Ciao.
Thank you for listening. Yeah.